Welcome back to How to Win at Chess, a series where I take on my Twitch subscribers in 10-minute games, and I go up the rating ladder walking you through the opening, middle game, and end game. The next 3 episodes of this series will be sponsored by Surfshark. So, I'm going to tell you a little bit about them, and then we'll get to the content. Surfshark is a VPN, or a virtual private network, which allows you to encrypt your connection to the internet so that you can browse it privately and anonymously. We edit this part in, by the way, so I'm wearing something different, sorry. A VPN is great if you travel for business or pleasure. You'll be able to access certain websites abroad that might be restricted otherwise. You can also log into sensitive portals like bank accounts without any concern. If you're just a regular user at home, you can access certain streaming websites like Hulu or Netflix and get catalogs that are not available in every single country. Also, using a VPN could allow you to avoid ads if you select the right countries. But I probably shouldn't tell you that. We can just edit this part out. And the best part, unlimited devices. Not 3, not 5, not 10, unlimited. Something that other VPNs cannot promise you. You interested in Surfshark? Take a look at the link in the description below. Use the promo code Gotham and you'll get 83% off and 3 free months. That comes out to $2.49. And if you hate it, you got 30 days to get your money back. Let's get back to the video. Here we go. We have black in the first game. Bobby's rated 926, plays e4. I'm going to go with the e6, b6 setup because somebody just requested it. So e6, b6 is a setup-based opening that you can play against anything. And the point is that you delay putting a second pawn into the center. Your bishop targets the center like this. You can basically play this setup against any of white's first moves. So it doesn't matter if they play king's pawn, both of the queen's pawns, bishop b7. And now the point is, with the pressure on this center, if they just develop naturally with the 2 knights, your idea is to put the bishop out on b4 to pressure the knight, which will ultimately pressure this pawn. This is the only piece protecting this center pawn, and that is what you do. Really depends, though. We have to monitor how our opponent develops here. The thing about setup-based openings is they look easy to play, but not always the case. Bishop d3 is a natural move. I'll continue with bishop b4. If a3, I'm more than willing to make this swap. And then we will figure out what to do. The thing is, you don't really want to rush with the move knight f6 in a lot of positions, because with the 2 pawns in the center, white can go e5. In this case, white cannot do that because this pawn actually hangs. In a lot of the situations when the bishop is on f1, it is protected, but that is like kind of the trick of the long range here. A lot of lower rated players will blunder the g2 pawn and get their rook trapped, but still the game goes on. But bishop d3 is actually a good move, rather than lazily developing the knight. But knight f6, of course, is possible. And in a lot of situations, you actually put your knight on e7. So right now, I'm not baited into taking. I don't need to take. Knight e7. And then, at the same time, knight f6 is also okay. Why is this trade good with a3? Well, your alternative is to just go back. Because if you go here, you get trapped. So there's no reason to waste all this time. I think I will just continue my development with knight e7. I'm going to show you all the idea of this. It's like when you castle, your knight, your pawn, and your rook all support the advancement of the f-pawn, which combined with the bishop moving, with the bishop standing on b7, the f-pawn moving, this is the way you'll fight for the center. So if a3, we'll make this swap, we will castle, and we will go f5. Every opening with black has its pros and cons. The con of this opening is that white has a lot of space. And you will need to learn how to deal with that and not get overwhelmed by that. But with black, I mean, no opening is perfect. Okay, castle. In a lot of situations, if white plays this very aggressively, there can also be something on h7, which is a little bit unpleasant. But c5 in the future, yeah, but you know, again, that's one of the positives of this opening is that black can play with any of these pawns, really. And has a very flexible decision. Also, black can play d6 and then e5 to try to close the center. So, okay, well, either this person is alpha 0 or is just a little bit too brave for their own good. The general rule of thumb in the modern day of chess is that you just play the h-pawn 2 squares and you hope for the best. So either this person is literally just an engine, or it is I'm not accusing, I'm joking because this move doesn't look like it makes any sense. But I guess, you know, we're gonna continue with our plan with f5 and we're gonna hope for the best. So And that's that. So chat, how we doing? YouTube, how we doing? I decided that for these episodes, it's better if just chat makes me laugh, and then we don't encourage any crazy trolling. Otherwise, it will require stricter moderation, and this is mostly for instructional value. Have I ever played the Accelerated Dragon? I have. Finally, this trade occurs. Now, big decision. What do we do with this, if anything? Do we take or do we push and force the bishop to move backwards? So on the one hand, pushing does force a retreat, and I like it. On the other hand, then I kill all my pressure on the center. My alternative is to take and then replace the knight on this square. At the same time, I can do nothing. But developing the knight here is another kind of byproduct of this opening, which is unpleasant. My knight will block my bishop. So I'm actually going to take. I'm going to take because I like to activate my pieces and take a little bit more space. Long term, this pawn on f4, it's not so clear what it's doing. Because the thing is, for one move, you attack a piece, but it's a very short-sighted plan in my opinion. And once the bishop just retreats and the queen moves, and if white castles this way, which I'm assuming will happen, considering white already advanced the pawn on their king side, this capture on e4, and now, again, this trade is fine. You might think, well, d5 is a good move. d5 is another consideration to just attack the bishop, but then the bishop goes back, and what have we accomplished? Very short-sighted move. We've blocked our own bishop, so I actually think I will take, and then I will move my knight into the middle, and now when this knight comes out, we don't need to worry about blocking our own bishop. Now the question is, where do I put my horsey? And another idea is not go d5 here, because again, very short-sighted. The knight just moves out of the way, it hits this, and this pawn will just become weak. We like our structure a bit more flexible, a little bit more back, not overextended. I guess I don't know. I have no idea which one of these moves is better. And again, I don't even need to play that. I can just develop my knight. I don't know. See, this is a situation in a 10-minute game where you don't need to spend like all your time. I also can go here and here, for example. And route my queen to this side, hitting these two. I don't know. I'm just gonna develop. Like I said, it's not a position you can spend all your time. You will never figure out the perfect move. So we're up 1 minute on the clock. We're going to try to maintain that time advantage as the game is going on. Now I anticipate this happening, right? So what if I play the move like a5, a move like a5 or even b5? Because I'm expecting the queenside castle, and I can play b5 and b4, and then we're gonna kind of get the show. Oh, I didn't even realize that we weren't playing music. Sorry, Twitch. There's your music. You guys get music. My bad. I thought it was playing this whole time. So I'm anticipating that, and there it is. So, b5. It's gonna get exciting. This is prime time opposite side castling pawn play here. See? Anticipated what they were gonna do. Now we're playing b5, b4, trying to create something. Queen d3, not a bad move. Actually, queen d3, it's a very good move. Trying to attack my pawn, and maybe knight g5 trying to mate me. Okay, I'm thinking rook behind the pawns. I'm also thinking just run straight through. Knight g5 is a very annoying looking move, actually. Knight g5, g6, there's also this. If knight g5, knight f5. Whoops, knight g5, knight f5, there could be this move. Queen d3. Okay. Let's go rook b8. Let's go rook b8. Maybe I could have sacrificed this pawn. Maybe I could have just went here, preventing this move entirely. And then... But I don't know. We'll see. We'll see if, first of all, if my opponent plays that. I mean, I don't know if they will, but maybe they will. Maybe. Don't know. So far, we're just thinking. I do believe that this is the best move. Rook h3. What? This? It's a strange move. Rook h3 is a. I don't think that's a very good move. I think knight g5 was stronger. Knight g5 is not a mate in two. No, it's not a mate in two because I would block it. Well, I mean, I think I should go knight here. Right? I think this move is by far the most flexible. And then I appreciate the donation. Said my first tournament in years, I beat a 1280. I almost beat a 1900, but I lost. And you almost beat a 1900, and your over the board rating is 690. Wow. Okay, that is extremely impressive. Congratulations. Very, very nice. I mean, I don't think you're 600. I think that's just the old rating. But you should just make a new. Just make a new thing. Just make it like a new. Just sign up for a new. You know, with a new D5. Okay, and what if I play knight e5? See, if I take, he takes with check. And then if I mean, you really shouldn't block a check with a rook if it can be attacked, because then there is knight g5. So this is a last resort. A lot of people snap take. Don't snap take. Go knight e5. Don't snap take. A lot of people would snap take. I don't like snap taking. And just for the record, I could have taken take king h8, but I still don't want to activate the queen. I prefer to go here. Although now that I'm looking at it, there is a move here that I find extremely unpleasant for myself. And that is the move. Well, the point is that now my knight is under attack, and the rook has opened up to my queen. So there are two threats. The first threat is to take the knight for free. The second threat is to take the pawn, opening up this. I think this is a very well-trained, very well-educated 900 rated player. Very strong 900. Queen f6 is a very good move. Queen f6 is a very good move if you want to lose a queen. So I'm thinking I go d6, take. Okay, so I'm setting a trap. 100% that's the best move. 100%. It's not to take, it's to go here, realizing I cannot defend this with anything, and we're gonna see if that happens, okay? So let's take a look. Of course, d takes e6 is also a very good move for white, but let's take a look. Guys, b4 is a selfish move because you're not paying attention to the opponent's threats. Was e takes d5 not okay? E takes d5 might have been okay. But I don't know, man. Like queen e5 and I guess no, I don't. It doesn't feel right. It feels like I'm very delicate here. F4. Okay, my first instinct is that is probably not great because I can go here or here and attack the bishop. That is my first instinct. Is the first thing that I'm thinking about. I probably this, but to be honest, this actually also looks good. And part of me likes this even more because it's like blocking the king side. Oh, it's a very difficult decision. All right, let's just guess. I don't know which one is better, truthfully. I don't know. Knight g4, knight b4 is interesting. A lot of people suggesting this move, counterattacking on the other side of the board. Yep. I like that. Well, I'm anticipating that when I attack the bishop will go here, so there won't be a knight f2. Plus, let's not forget that both pieces defend this, but but we're gonna see. This was definitely 100% the best move a move ago. F4 was, I think, inaccurate. F4 was a mistake, I think. Okay. Isn't this just a free bishop? If rook takes, just knight takes? What was... Okay. I guess this pawn is pretty strong. But isn't this also free? That's free, right? Looks free. Seems free. Looks free. Now I'm also threatening this. Right, g3, got it. Which defends this and this. I'm thinking queen g4 to attack the pawn. I also like queen e7. Very difficult to decide between the two. I believe queen g4 is a little... Also queen h3. I think I like this. Well, if I go here, maybe the pawn can come up. No, but then I block it, right? This also feels safer. All right, let's go with the safe move. Let's go with the safe move. Right, knight g5, and if I go here, the knight jumps in. I think that's what opponent wants. Well, let's get out ahead of that. Let's get out ahead of that. So if the knight jumps in, the rook is out, and it's more active. It's more active, and then if the knight jumps out, we have this. Queen g4 was not a fork. This is not a fork. A fork has to actually be attacking something. It is not attacking the rook. Queen g4 would have just been one attacking move. Queen a7. Queen a7. Okay, queen a7. Sure. Queen a7. Wow. Queen a7. All right, let's move the rook out of... Queen a7. What a move. Nice move. Activating the queen, you know, hitting my weaknesses. A move that, very strong move. Very strong move. Rook e8. Great move. Rook h1 is a mistake, though. Queen a7 was great. Rook h1 makes no sense, but queen a7 was a fantastic move. I like the alternating, you know, between great and terrible. Now we go h6, and we remove the knight from the defense of the pawn. Once we get the pawn, then I think we're, you know, then I think we're good. Then I think we're good. Okay, knight took a very long time to go back. Rook takes. Now we're in business. Queen e6 might have been even a little bit better. Right, of course, pawn takes. This is under attack. I'm thinking to defend it, but I'm also thinking to just go all in. There's no need to defend, just hunt the opponent down. It's not mate in two, guys. Rook e1 is a very well-protected square. Let's think about this. My opponent is writing me messages and just said bullet time. Great. Okay, yeah, let's get even on time, and then now that we're even on time, rook takes f3 does not work because it is covered. All right. My opponent said bullet time. I wanted to get even on time, you know, to accept the invitation for bullet time. It is not mate in 2. I don't know why everybody's yelling about mate in 2. I really don't know. Okay, so that hangs a piece in a couple of ways. I think it's better to take a free rook. Uh-huh. Yeah, bullet time indeed. Let's bring the queen back. Definitely bullet time. Now we are threatening rook b3, cb3, and rook to e2. We shred it all open. We don't just go for this. Check, defended. Always hard to find moves like that. Now, rather than even taking the knight, we can go check. King goes here. We could take the pawn with a ladder mate, or we can go rook a1 in the corner. I like this one more. All right. And now we move on to T-Nev. So let's play, you guys, what have you been requesting? E4? Knight f3. This is standard stuff. Some people were requesting the Scotch. So knight f3, knight c6, and now d4 is the way to go. This is the Scotch opening. Very useful way to play. If you play e4 and knight f3, d4 happens in a lot of positions. First of all, in positions with Sicilians, and it's generally a good way to fight for the center with the knight defending. No. No Rue Lopez. Why are you playing Rue Lopez? Hey, the guy's 1,000. No Rue Lopez, please. Italian. Please, Italian. Now, after taking, you can go for a gambit. You can play c3, or you can play bishop c4, which is called the Scotch Gambit. You tell me, what do you want me to play? You want me to play the normal Scotch or the Gambit Scotch? Of course, I think you guys are going to all say Gambit, but in general, you don't need to play the Scotch to play the Gambit. You can just play any... Okay, everyone's saying Gambit. Fantastic. So I'll play bishop c4. Right, so bishop c4. There's bishop c4. That's a good move. Bishop b4 check. So I can play the move c3 here. This is generally the best thing to do. If they take, what's interesting is you don't actually have to take back. You can castle your king out of the way. Why no Rue Lopez at 700? Because it's incredibly dense and crazy opening with a lot of really, really deep ideas. It's like trying to learn a triple jump in figure skating and you don't even know how to tie the boots, kind of a thing. Now, in Gambits, what are we trying to do? We are trying to attack and create threats while our opponent is still stuck trying to get developed. I would say you should start learning... Huh? I would say you should... See, this is how 1000s play. Whatever we saw in that last game, that was like very inspired play from a 900. I mean, this gentleman just is... I don't... Very, very high percent chance the gentleman could be a lady. After all, how to win at chess... sorry, how to play chess video does have 25% female audience. So hello to the ladies. This is what happens at this level. I mean, just small oversights... Wait, I just made a horrible move. That's actually really funny. This move is a blunder. Wow. Wait a minute. I gotta... Hold on. So if bc3, queen c3, and that's a fork on this and this, can I defend that? I can. There's a very funny way. But can I also go here to create a threat on the queen first before I take? Oh, that might be it. And then there's no way for the queen to attack my bishop. See, this is just a spot where someone would snap take. I was thinking like this and then like somehow trap the queen, which is also possible. You can trap the queen in the corner, but the queen will get sacrificed for 2 rooks. So bishop g5 before I take looks like the way to go. So pause when you blunder, just pause. Don't just, you know, snap. Because the whole time I'm thinking, whoa, the queen's going to be attacking 2 things. At this level, a lot of it is being, at 1000, you're really thinking about your own moves. You're not really thinking too much about your opponent's moves. So what ends up happening is they play a move and you go, oh, wow, I didn't see that. Oh, wow, I didn't see that. It's like they play a move, you're like, oh, okay, now I'm going to think. But hold on, you got to think what they're going to do also. So, like, in this case, I saw that the queen would have been attacking 2 pieces. Finding a way to trap the queen in the corner is ridiculous, because if you think about that, I'm suggesting it is better to lose a full rook than a bishop. So first we need to defend the bishop, and then we need to trap the queen, which is not something that is very natural, right? Like, we're taking that for granted because I am sitting here saying it. But in this case, we trade the queen, we take the bishop, we're just left a piece. So you create a concept of a danger level. You don't just take back, you go, can I attack the queen? Oh, I can. And the reason why this move is so good is the queen can no longer defend the bishop, and we are defending our rook. So now, opponent just wants to trade everything, which I'm more than happy about. The way I would play this position is in a restricting way. So I see that, you know, opponent wants to bring the pawns forward. You can play moves like this to create 1-move threats, but this is a good move, actually, because if d6, we can get in and fork. So opponent just wants to develop the bishop and defend their pawn, but now don't just be lazy and make random developing moves. You can continue to try to win material, and the more pawns we win, the better the endgame is going to become. So anyway, I appreciate everybody subbing and giving bits. I don't want to spend the entire time thanking you, because obviously this will go up on YouTube later, but okay, we'll simplify more, but just do know it is appreciated. I've been getting a lot of offline, you know, donations on PayPal and things like that. People writing nice messages that they've, and I think what I'll start doing is maybe shouting them out, like, at the end of certain videos. It's hard, actually, to figure out exactly how to, on Twitch, it's easy, you know, someone donates, you're like, oh, thank you. All right, let's just develop. This also gives our king a little getaway. So our king, that's a good move. If I take, I would lose my bishop. So we're just gonna defend this. That's a nice move, trying to deflect my pawn away from defending my bishop. And now I should bring my rook, right? I want to trade my rook. So what about rook here, opposite this rook? Defend my rook, move my bishop. With no rooks on the board, and this is never a thing because of the pin. Thank you, Ibabe. Saw a lot of people saying things like, you know, they enjoy the videos they're watching on Twitch for the first time. We have music here, we have more swearing. My grandfather just emailed me, and he emailed me a forwarded message of my go live notification on Twitch. Did he do that because they're watching at home? Hi, Gramps. Hi, family. I just checked my email, and it was just a forwarded go live notification. I was like, I know, I'm live. I don't... Anyway, we can take... or we can go here, which attacks the rook, and that is better. See? Another moment. You don't snap take. You just go here, take a pause, and... Didn't I miss mate with the bishops? Negative, because just king g8. I think. I don't think I missed the mate. This is the easiest. You open up 2 attacks. Now, if my king was on g2, and they could take this with a check, I would lose. I just want you guys to realize this. If my king is here, bishop takes with check would lose me the game. Or maybe not lose, because I would be able to defend my rook. But in this case, the benefit that I have is my opponent cannot take my bishop. And now I will push, creating a glue, and by the way, the rook is trapped. I missed a mate with the bishops? What are y'all talking about? What? Twitch, how did we ever beat YouTube in a sub battle? Y'all good? YouTube's watching right now like, man, they stupid, man. They hella stupid. We want a rematch. All right. Let us create a box to make it difficult for the king to move. Just take so this can't, you know. And I'll bring my king. Maybe I can demonstrate how to mate with king and 2 bishops and just not use the other pieces. Well, there's pawns. See, this is the problem. Maybe I can create an agreement where my opponent just doesn't move their pawn. Oh, let's do this. Thank you. Thank you, thank you. Thank you, thank you. I appreciate it. That's what we'll do. So we've locked the structure. We're kind of pretending like this is a king and 2 bishops versus king endgame. And take. At this point, you need to... Okay, so you need to not rush with the king. Otherwise, it's going to be a draw. So what you do is you can go here. Here, the king is trying to get out. King comes here. And you need the king in the corner where you can deliver a mate successfully. So for example, the bishop slides back, right? King's got a couple legal moves here. Okay? We can bring the king closer, which would force the king to go to the corner. Right? And now, here's the thing. If we give a check and the king moves and we give a check, the king keeps running. We want this position, but with the bishop here. We want the exact same position, but we want 2 turns in a row. So, what do? We waste a move. We waste a move. We go here. Or here. Or here. Or here. Or any move where we can give a check on the next turn. So when the king goes here, it's check, the king is walked back, and then it's mate. So, not there. That's a mouse slip. We give a check, the king goes to the corner, and we give a mate. That is how you would mate with king and 2 bishops. And it's nice. And we get to... Right, so... little gambit action here, getting the king out of the way. We sacrifice pawns in the opening. We create threats. I don't know why the opponent gave us the knight here. I was anticipating the knight moving, and then we would have continued to attack. For example, there's ideas in early gambits like sacrificing and making the king move so that we can give a check and win the knight back. And this is good because we've won a pawn in this process. We sacked the bishop for the pawn, but we got a knight back. Now black also cannot castle. All right, so then knight c3 and bishop g5 and all these things. So in that endgame, it would have been... I apologize. In this game, I should say, it would have been a little bit better if that had occurred, but sadly, it was not to be. Can we get a Sicilian dragon? Sure. All right, Little Shield. All right, Sicilian. Perfect. We're going to get a Sicilian dragon. So Sicilian has to be played against e4? Oh my goodness. My own opening is getting played against me. That is very funny. That is my opening. I like the a3 Sicilian. So let's go g6 and bishop g7. This is how you play the dragon Sicilians. So bishop g7. Now hopefully this person learned this before the match. And they are not just using the course during the game. Which is a thing, by the way. That is not allowed. That is very much cheating. Let's go e6, knight e7, and d5. Alright. Don't do that. Love me some apple juice. You know, people have, like, lost their minds today. They're like, are you drinking perfume? Are you drinking urine? Are you drinking soap? A man cannot just enjoy his Martinelli's apple juice from US grown fresh apples. It's gotta be pee. Y'all just can't behave yourselves. It just has to be. Anyway, this pins my horsey to my queen. So my original idea to put 2 pawns in the center is no longer possible because my knight is not actually defending the center. But what if I attack the bishop? What are you doing here, man? You want to take? Or are you going to go here? What do you want to do? Now big decision. Do I play g5? I don't like g5. I'm just going to keep developing. I don't like g5. Don't like g5. I think it's a little bit too much, as we say. Too much. Too much. A little bit too much. Don't like it. Castle? Or finish? How about a6 and b5? So this is a very closed position. Both sides have their fence of pawns. There's no pawn tension anywhere. This is the one spot where we might have an opening. And like it's, you know, but see, I just wanted to go here, and I was gonna do that anyway, but now we walk directly into a fork. So my opponent did not anticipate my move b5. And queen a5 check does not win material, because the knight can just go back to where it was. That's what a lot of people forget. Right, so b5, and so somebody saying, Daniel Naroditsky said, you know, in the dragon, c5 and e6 is not good because you can give the knight the d6 square. Generally, that is a good rule of thumb. But that is in much more of an open Sicilian situation when the move d4 happens. Again, it's why relying on general concepts is dangerous. You need to rely on specific situations. And in this case, like, if you just say, well, d6 is weak, it is, you're right. And Daniel is 100% right, by the way. So when someone asks that question, I'm not saying, oh, Daniel is a stupid guy. He don't know. Listen, I love Daniel. I think he's got great instruction. I'm just saying, specifically, he was talking about probably a different situation. Because in this case, my pawn goes 2 squares, and I'm good. So it's really hard to play chess on general principles, okay? You must try to stay away from always doing things in a general way. Chess is oftentimes a very situation-specific game. So oh, there was a TTS that came in. A guy donated to be unbanned. No, you should have thought of that, sadly. No. You should have thought of that, unfortunately. Prior to being terrible. The thing is, you know, I would say this. There is a limit to anything. And I think that, you know, it's important to kind of have a framework of some sort in that regard. I think that there is a limit to these things, and I think it could be 5 or 10 messages, but 100 messages over the course of 3 or 4 days, no. That's not someone we want in the community. So now do I continue with d5, or if d6 just knight goes back and I haven't really done anything, so I am thinking d5 now. No, I mean, if you donated $5, you can just ask for a refund, and that will be that. Chat, how we doing? How we doing? We good? It's been a weird episode of Win at Chess. Very weird episode. A lot of interesting and interesting things going on. A lot of interesting and exciting stuff. So far this game has been quite something. A lot of pawn play situations today, I would say. Was queen b6 any good? Yeah, there's a lot of good moves in this position. I mean, there's a lot of good moves. Here, I mean, you can play d6, d5, queen b6, queen c7, g5, f5, king h8, king h7. I mean, you could do a lot of moves that don't do a whole lot, and they're not bad. So, yeah, there's a lot of good moves, I think. Let's take. And we're up material, so we could trade the queen. We need to be... I was going to say, we need to be careful because the queen is guarding the knight, so we would destabilize the knight a little bit, although it still is protected. But then the opponent just didn't take back. That's very strange. I want to activate my bishop, and I think I'm just going to do that by going here. Central pawn trade. Opens up the bishop. Can bring my... See, I can use a trade to activate my horsey and get it in later to d3. Or c4 and attack the b2 pawn. So using pawn trades to improve your position, mobilize your own pieces, which otherwise would be running into the wall of pawns by chipping away at the pawns. Super important skill. Figuring out when it's good, when it's bad, and when it's necessary. And when it's not necessary. I'm necessary? You are necessary. How about that? Okay, I'm gonna take. That was always my plan, to open the position. Blundered the knight? No, we didn't. We didn't blunder the knight. I think what this person is talking about is that in this position, if I were to take, there would be this. But I never... I mean, I know I drew this as an idea, but... that would have been noticed, yes. I would have probably thrown in the move g5. But, sadly, there will not be any blunders. I will take. I'm up material. Might as well trade horses. And I think I should play g5 or move my queen out of the pin. This pin is very annoying to deal with. I'm thinking just like here, for example. This is not the best move. There is a little trick here my opponent can play, but... see if they find it. My queen is defending two things. That should give you all a hint that the queen is a little bit overloaded, especially when they're on opposite sides of the board. If they push the pawn here, I would have taken. I have two things defending that. So... we would have just defended and it would have been good. But in this case, isn't this countered by this? Oh my god. Are you a human? I didn't even see that. So my idea was... this. You found that on your own? Wow. You found that after this, I don't have to do anything and just move, attack the bishop, and hit this too? And then if queen takes queen, I go here, and that hits that, and that still hits that? What? Damn, my lessons are paying off. Let's finish our development here. Put our bishop on the diagonal. Nice find. Nice find. I didn't even see that. I saw g5. I didn't see knight f5. Because again, I had the g5 idea in my mind, but knight f5 is a nice move. Nice find. Nice find. Very nice. That's all me. That's all my teaching. No, I mean, it's like when people write nice messages. They're like, hey, you know, I've been watching so much of your content. You know, I climbed, 500-600 points because of you. No, you climbed it because of yourself. I mean, you're the one that had to play the moves, no? You didn't climb it because of me. Let's go f5. Look at this. Nice big space. We're trying to go f4, g5. Shut down the bishop. Now our bishop is defending here. So we have a space advantage, which is squares that you control in your opponent's side of the board. Check. So that's a move. Wasn't really worried about this check, because I'm trapping the bishop, I think. So for example, bishop... Well, for example, let's trade the queens. Let's go for queen trade. And... some fascinating folks in today's chat. I really hope people who make brand new accounts to come in and write hate messages are, like, okay in life. I don't think they are, but I just hope that they are. But I don't think they are. But I hope they are. I just don't think they are. Let's go knight c6 to get the knight out of danger. b5 is hanging, for those of you who are concerned. But let's not forget, I have a lingering threat of trapping a bishop. So even if I lose my pawn on b5, which I am anticipating will happen, there is this. Okay, now this is the right capture, because what this does is it gives my opponent time. It's all the time they need. Now I would love to go here. That's what I would love. Appreciate the, oh, they had time, but they didn't do anything with their time. Although, are they trying to go rook d... Oh, I have something really, really mean. Thank you, Disco. Thank you. A lot of people giving subs today. So like I said, it's a weird day. A lot of ups and downs, it feels like. First game of this climb was weird. I don't know what's going on today. Very strange. The 900 was by far better than these two 1000s, let's put it this way, to say the least, to be kind about it. So in a lot of, it's crazy to me, once we made this channel in the Discord, for potentially reporting cheaters, how many people are actually, like, legitimately cheating. Like, it wasn't even nonsense. Like, I've been seeing accounts with, like, 20 straight games of 99%, and I'm like... nuts, I had no idea. So, my big brain idea here was to play pawn takes bishop. Because when they take my queen, my rook and my pawn hit this, which will be a fork, and they didn't do it. I would have won the rook, and then I would have won the other rook. But instead, I will just move my queen out of the way. My opponent said, oh man, did my opponent just, like, forget they could go here? Right. Visualization is a difficult thing. There's no easy tips. Brute forcing it is generally a good way to go. Let's see, pawn to e3. Rook to a4 is a good move. Rook to a4 is a good move. I'm playing e3 because it opens my bishop, and my queen defends my pawn. So, guys, I honestly, I say, thank you, Forking Pawns. Thank you very much. I say that rather than banning this version of this account, we just kind of, it's like a toddler. It's just like a toddler. We just wait for the toddler to kind of, like, you know, use all of their energy on their outburst. And then we just, so, anyway. Until, obviously, you know, it goes past the point, and then the process begins anew. Maybe bishop takes f3. Sacrifice. There's always a sacrifice like this when you have, like, big artillery. Bishop f3, I think, is the way to go, because pawn takes, I can slide in with a check and win the rook. Queen is not guarding the rook. There is a pawn in the way, so... maybe king h7. That's a check. So I think just king h7, hiding. And check. Of course, we can play rook f3 as well. But picking up the rook is, I think, the easiest. A lot, you know, just go for the kind of the simple conversion here. And we'll be okay. So queen here, check. Check. Here. Queen h5 is mate. And 1 defended. Cannot go here because of this. H5 would not have been mate because of this, but then bishop h6 would have been mate on the next move. And this game was a Sicilian. We played our little setup, and we kind of stayed patient, finishing our development, using our pawns to take space. Early blunder by the opponent. So... opponent should have just castled. Knight a4 was a very weird move. Just from the way, like, you just finish your development before you go to battle. My opponent said I recently played a higher rated player who used the same opening, but I can't believe I blundered that fork early and then didn't take your queen. Nerves do a lot. Was a good game. Just review the line. In the line, you're not supposed to play bishop g5 so early. You're supposed to go bishop a2, make a waiting move, and then try to develop your pieces a little bit later. So, but that was a good game. I mean, you learn from games like this. All right, let's play Sledge. Sledge is not online. All right, we will skip Sledge for now. It's another, like I said, it's a weird day. A lot of people, okay, Arkooms is also not online. Fantastic. My next 2 opponents are not online. What do we do? I guess I'll have to edit this part out of the YouTube video, but I'll just sit here and wait, I guess. All right, well, hopefully these people get online. I mean, I don't know why they wouldn't. Chess.com/live, please. There we go. Hi, Sledge. C4 in English. Okay, so the best way to play against an English is to just take the center. Of course, c4, e5, it's a main line. And now white basically decides, are they going to play knight c3, knight f3, or are they going to play knight c3 and g3? In general, knight c6 is the best second move. It's a very flexible move. You don't have to play it. There's a lot of ways to play this. And my opponent plays knight f3. So I can play the 4 knights, but I prefer 2 pawns in the center with e5, f5. This is kind of like reverse Vienna style. Actually, it looks very much like a Vienna. Now, d3. We can play this fully Vienna style, which is bishop to b4, pinning the knight. Bishop c5 looks good, but in general, it's not recommended to play the bishop to c4 against Sicilian. If you remember from the game we literally just played, you notice what happened? I started playing e6, d5. So even though the colors are reversed, if I put my bishop on c5, e3, d4 is possible. It's the exact same thing, just with the colors flipped. So what we do here, if we play bishop to b4 instead, because we don't want to get the bishop hit with a center pawn. Instead, if we get hit with a flank pawn, we'll just trade, and we'll be okay. So you see how the same exact concept comes up with colors flipped. It's hard to realize that, but if the opponent has not committed both center pawns, then this can be possible. Now, bishop g5 is, of course, a decent move. We just develop. Maybe I'll play h6 on the next turn to kick the bishop away. This trade is good for me. It activates my queen. My queen gets behind the pawns. If a3, I'm going to make this trade. It's not great to give away a bishop for a knight so early, but the position is fine. So take. I'm going to go with my plan. If opponent tries to stick around, this just gets their bishop trapped. Another pattern from the last game. So the bishop really should be taking or going like all the way back this way. But we'll see. There it is. Queen takes, and now black has no problems. We have escaped the opening. Castles is next, or develop our bishop and go long. I don't really like going long. I think the rook is on this file. Of course, if we play b6, we're okay. I'm already also visualizing this, and I'm looking at e4. And I gotta tell you, that actually, I gotta tell you, oh man. That looks... Is the king kind of exposed if castle? No. No. It is not. Oh man, you see, this is the thing. We can castle naturally, but we're looking at one aggressive move. And I actually think this is the best move. I don't want to teach you all to go to war before you castle, but at the same time, there's ways you can punish the opponent's setup very early. And e4, somebody said, what about this, knight d4? Who said I have to take this back? Who said I have to take this back? I'm gonna go check, which actually forces the knight to retreat, because if queen blocks, queen takes rook. So, on the one hand, castles is fine. Someone says, is the king exposed on g8? Again, that is living chess by abstract terms, and I want you all to stay away from things like that. It's very abstract. Oh, it's not a safe king. Why not? Who can attack the king when it castles? Can any... White has one knight out. You're really scared of one horse? No, you're scared of your own shadow. Right, so the opponent plays knight d4. Take. We've won a pawn. We can now take and castle. Or play queen c3 check first. And now there is no castle. Queen d2, queen a1. So opponent has to go king f1. And now they cannot castle the king successfully, which means that the rook cannot get out. And now probably we can just take and then go like this. Probably that's the best thing to do. Just take the pawn once. They have to play pawn takes. If they take like this, there is this. And then we get out of the way. If we actually also could have castled and sacrificed the pawn, but opened up our rook. See, that would have been the other argument. Castles, pawn takes, rook is open. This way we don't lose a pawn, but our rook is not so open. No, you're just, the thing is, you're fearful of the unknown. You're fearful of, well, what if I miss something? Well, what are you gonna miss? Now, here's a difficult decision. Where do I put my king? I'm gonna put my king here, because I want to go f4 in the future, and, you know, I don't want my king on a light square. This is a light squared bishop. It's the only thing that can... opponent's doing a very good job, though. So now I'm going to force the bishop out of the middle with the move c6. That's number one. I'm going to bring the bishop back. I don't like that. I have a lot of options here, but... And then f4 is going to be my next move. I actually could have played this first. A little bit unhappy with myself here, but I'm going to go f4. Of course, if pawn takes, there is rook takes, and I would like to take to open up my rook. Now you say, well, what about take? This rook is open too. Yeah, we'll have to figure that out if we actually want to make this decision. But for now, I want this trade, because I just get a fully activated rook. And I do have to play d6 and activate my bishop at some point also. Which is why maybe c6 was wrong. Maybe this bishop is actually not doing anything and I didn't have to kick it out. Maybe that one move actually brought the bishop back to a more useful square for white. Whereas in this case, if I had just ignored the bishop completely, it would have had no role in the game. But I don't know. I don't know. We'll see. Okay, bishop e4 is a bit strange. I guess maybe long-term idea to, like, mate me somehow. Like this. Not a bad idea, actually. So d6, queen h5, huh? That's a move. Wow. That is a move. That is a move. That is a move. I kind of like it. That is certainly a move. Have I mentioned that it's a move, by the way? Maybe d5, which at least hits the bishop and might deflect it. You know what? This could be an instructive move, d5. And this is why I'm playing this move, because it wins me time. I sacrifice a pawn, but the bishop is deflected from the useful diagonal. It activates my bishop for me. And once I get my bishop out, I also get my rook out. And first of all, if I move my bishop to this very useful square on f5, my opponent will never mate me. Right? They will never mate me. They will want to go back. What if I play bishop f5 now? They go back to e4. f3 check. This is going to be the key. I need to play this move at the right moment, because it cannot be taken with the queen. And what it will do is it will force my opponent to be very passive. Let's do it now. Let's do it now. If I play f takes g3, that's also not bad, but I like this move because one option is opponent suffocates their own king, right? Queen is also blocked. But if the bishop takes, the bishop is now stuck, making sure my rook never gets activated. So I'll play, for example, queen to d4 next. That's just one option. Bishop h3, it looks very fancy, but accomplishes literally zero. Queen f6 is interesting. But I gotta anticipate this is happening next. Bishop f5, bishop e4. You know, somehow it's all holding together. It's not completely lost. It, like, somehow isn't totally losing. This move kind of defends the whole house for white. How do we do this? Let's go bishop f5. If bishop e4, maybe we take and we go rook d8. Maybe that's how we play this. We play this without the bishops and just two rooks and queen hunt down the white territory. But white is so close to solving their problems here. So close. Which just makes me think this might have been a good idea. This might not have been that good of an idea. What? No. This is... No. Because now I go here. This one move, very greedy move, gives me the time to bring my rook. Now bishop e4 is no longer possible because you've pinned yourself. So this is a fatal error, I think. I think bishop takes b7 is underestimating my position here. So I'm down 2 pawns, but I have all my pieces activated now for the cost of 2 pawns. This looks really scary for white. Very, very scary. He might have misclicked? No, that was a very deliberate move. Oh, and immediately there's a blunder. Black to play in win chat. Sometimes the best move is not going forward. Sometimes the best move is going backwards. Queen c6 check. The light squared bishop has left the diagonal. And now we hit both. We just look for a check. There was another check that was actually very cool. We could have went here. If pawn takes, we take the queen. But then they win a rook. And a bishop. But this move is just very easy. We pick up the full bishop. And we're winning. So... I really want to see if this d5 f3 idea was correct or not. I don't think f3 was the right idea. If my opponent had found that one move which holds the whole position. Oh! And now, this is why you don't just take. Don't just take. Always look for checks. Kabam! Bishop h3. Rook and queen. Even if the rook wasn't there, this is winning because... it's a deflection tactic. You deflect the king from protecting the queen. And now the game is over. Even if the rook wasn't there, bishop h3 was still... was there. And now, since the king is locked, we end this by a rook lift. It's mate in 2. Unstoppable mate in 2. Rook f5 or rook d5. Because the king cannot go back. The pawn cannot come up. Rook h5 is unstoppable mate. Rook d5 and rook h5, and the game is over. It's called a rook lift, up and over. And that is the game. How quickly it all falls apart. An instructive game. The concept of time in this game, super important. White never got to move their rooks. I mean, I'm not really counting this move. White spent 25 moves of the game and didn't get to move their rooks. It was black basically attacking from start to finish, so... rook d5, rook h5 is a nice little finishing touch. And we will analyze the game. We'll see the c6, d5 idea. You know, this game became crazy. And it's funny. It's like you pin my rook to my queen, but this is mate and there's nothing to be done. Nice game. So, first things first, if you're gonna play the English, you cannot play and then trade your bishops like this. I recommend going for, first of all, this setup, the best thing for white to do here is to play d4. Like, white needs to just immediately attack the center. So that's number one. You go back, you learn this line, you improve your opening. Number two, it's like, okay, how did I handle the position? I missed e4. I missed that early on, it's not just about, you know, developing my pieces slowly. E4 is the only move here to give advantage. Take, here, check, king f1. Yeah, and see, the computer doesn't even... Wow, the computer does not like my take. It actually likes castles. It likes the idea of sacrificing the pawn, but opening up the rook. So this castle, bishop d5. And it also doesn't like c6. See, a move that I played, well, it likes c6 and f4 together, but it doesn't like it more than just going here. And f4... By the way, notice what the top engine move here is. Why would you push pawns in front of your king? Because I now have no way in. Isn't that interesting? I don't have a way in now. I can't break through. So g4 kind of stops my way through. Opponent goes bishop e4. Is the best move here d5? Yes, engine likes it. It supports my idea. And now f3, it doesn't like... Not only does it not like it, it already thinks white is equal. Why can't white go bishop e4 here? Oh, okay, white can go bishop e4. This is what I thought was going to happen. And I was just going to go rook d8. And see, this was good, actually. What I thought here, as this was my idea, I thought this was really good. And the computer likes it. The computer only finds one move for white, and it's equal danger. You disregard the attack on your queen and you counterattack me. If white doesn't find that and instead goes here, the game is over after rook d2. So we basically just swarm in, which was my, you know, whole idea. But there's a small detail that the computer doesn't like there. But this move is too much. And did we play the best move? Rook a d8? Rook a b8 or rook a d8? Very close. Rook d8. And now, yeah, this, of course, loses on the spot. Had the opponent played something like rook c1 to attack the queen, I would have played maybe queen b2. I mean, again, this is very dangerous. You'll notice that even though black is down 2 pawns, it's 0-0-0, and if anything, white has a very difficult situation defending themselves. So, means that black has something called compensation. Black is doing very well here. Very happy in this position. So, that was a good game. A lot of instructive moments in that game. Coombs. We played e4 last game, right? So let's play d4. And maybe I'll play in English. Yes, black has constipation. Very good. You guys are hilarious. Let's play the London. So London into King's Indian, which is what's being played here. London into King's Indian, I like to play knight c3, queen d2, long castle. That's how I play. I recommend all London players play like this against King's Indian players. So... You play queen d2, e4, long castle. Why? Because this turns the game from a regular chess game into you hunting them down and they're running from the woods. You know that scene in Sherlock Holmes' Game of Shadows? No, is that the most recent one? Is that the one with Moriarty? That is Game of Shadows, right? Yeah. When they're running through the woods and there's like, you know, the thing flying after them and exploding all the things. The thing flying after them and exploding. What an epic movie. I love those movies. I think Robert Downey Jr. as Sherlock Holmes was brilliant. Maybe I should make a YouTube video about the chess game that they played. Ooh, how's that for a you? Ooh, 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 I just got a good YouTube idea. Ooh, Oh, that was such a good idea. Oh, I'm like shaking. It's such a good idea. My ear is ringing. It's such a good idea. Or maybe that's just tinnitus. Sorry, YouTube. I get excited. If you're watching like 8 months in the future, I probably made the video, so go check it out. Okay, so bishop h6 is the point. And the point is that you're removing the beacon of hope for black's position. That dark squared bishop is black's entire hope and dream, and you just remove it completely. You also remove a king's defender. And then you start your own attack. That is the benefit of castling opposite sides. I would love it if this pawn ceased to exist. It's not a human, it's a pawn, so we can say such things. And then the queen and the rook would be activated together. Nice. Very nice. Great move. In general, the rule of thumb is h4, h5. Is what I always tell people who play these positions with black. Don't let white have fun. Now I'm going to go e4, which was always my idea. 2 pawns in the center. This is guarded, this is guarded. And slowly we will build up the other pawn break. We need to go g4 at some point so that they take and we continue to attack. We don't care if we lose 1 or 2 pawns on this side of the board, because what will happen is we'll open our lines for our rooks, our bishops, our knights. We'll be very happy. Now, a lot of people here will play this move because... Oh, that's not a good move. Because e5 is the King's Indian style move. This move is no good. Blocks the bishop. You gotta go e5, and then I would have played d5. Now f3, g4 is on the way. Maybe g5, maybe we take. We don't know, but in general, this is like the move f3 is something I call the trampoline. Why not immediate g4? A good question. G4 they can take with anything that's not a pawn. Now g4. So now they cannot take with the knight, they will take with the pawn, and we will go h5. Maybe we want them to take, so we develop again, but very instructive kind of pawn, aggressive pawn attack. And you'll notice, like, my opponent is a good player. My opponent's a 1300 level player. Like, that's very good. 12, 1400 blitz. Watch as they crumble. Like, this attack works against everybody. I play like this against GMs. I love doing this to people who play the King's Indian. People melt in the face of this attack. Like, and not g5. G5 is a last resort, but I don't want to play g5. I would prefer for us to be able to take, shred it all open, and hunt down the king. What is it called? It doesn't have a name. You can call it the Dubbeldorp attack. I don't know. Call it the Gotham attack. Opposite side castling against King's Indian, London into, into this. And, it's easy. We get a nice little position and do a nice little attack here. It's good. Easy stuff. Good move. I like this move a lot. Opponent is trying to reinforce this. I mean, at some point I can overrun with the other pawns, but I think for now... How do we do this? Also, by the way, let's not forget there's another break, e5. Oh, that could be it. Sometimes when a castle has one weak spot, everybody floods to defend it and forgets that there is another break-in point. Wow, that's deep. That's like some Art of War stuff. Two target spots. And now we break in with 2 breaks, and the position is just not equipped to defend. Oh my god, what is this? Philosophical... Damn. E5, and my goodness. Is this a sub-battle? No. No. No, this is not a sub-battle. Now, I'm thinking to take, but I also need my knight in the attack. I could just transfer my horsey. Get my horsey toward the king, too. Now, the knight has been kicked out. We can kick the knight out again with c4. And then later, we will kind of finish the journey with the pieces. Again, you'll notice I'm not locking, I'm not taking anything. I'm literally keeping tension because my pawns are defended. They have reinforcements, so I don't care. You can lose your guard. I've got another guy ready to go. That is the key when you attack. It's to build up your forces. Well, now this I can take. I mean, I can take like this as well. This very, very defensive game by my opponent, but not a perfect defensive game. So for example, I can go c4, which kicks the knight out. I can play knight to d6. ed6 looks good now, attacking the knight. An attack is successful if we win material, so... I mean, I don't see a reason not to just jump in here with the horse and threaten to just maul everybody, Khabib style. Queen to g5, not a bad move at all. I see that being suggested with queen f6, but the knight is guarding. But in general, the queen, you want to... Let's put it this way. You want to bring the most powerful piece, but let me tell you something. You better be damn sure that that piece is going to do something. Because if it doesn't, you will lose it. And you don't want a queen trade. We're attacking. Why would we trade our queen, right? The queen waits. Queen waits for... Well, I mean, a5 is just not going to cut it. I feel like the opponent just hasn't... You know... I do want to go here, though. So I want to get this knight out. Definitely. Is this on YouTube? If you're asking at the time of filming, no. Like a day later, yeah. Yeah. No, I mean, of course my opponent... listen, guys, I say this all the time. People don't play always up to their level when they're playing for YouTube, when they're playing against me. You know, I appreciate all volunteers for doing this, and at the same time, you do have to understand, the game is in the hands of myself, right? If my opponent was playing another 13, 19 rated player, there's a chance they wouldn't be playing like this. I'm trying to show you how to play optimally, but at the same time, I'm also happy to make slightly inaccurate moves at times to give an example of the right way to punish it, right? So, but this is very straightforward. I want to put my queen on f4. I now have two threats. I have this and I have this. And plus, there's also times I just straight up make mistakes. Because that's life. I'm not perfect. Unlike some of these 900s that I play against. So, it happens. It happens. Remember, we do have courses for sale. You like my openings? You like my beginner bootcamp, intermediate study plan? Intermediate course will be there, so... all these things are coming. Checkmate with a pawn if I take on g7? I'm not taking on g7. Taking on f7. But yes, you're saying g5 is mate. Very brutal mate. Getting mated by the pawn there. f5, but f5, my friends, this is a very important. All intermediate players will get this. Beginner players, don't forget about rules of chess. En passant. Don't play en passant every time you can. But in this case, it does win the game. And peasant. I always say en passant, but it's en passant. En passant. Une pisson. Une boisson. Un poisson. La fille boit. Le garçon mange une pomme. I did some Rosetta Stone French, so I'm basically a genius. Poisson. L'homme court. Court. Run, right? Court. Check. Oh, opponent just decided that they had enough. I didn't even need to take the horsey. Oh, man, this would have been... But what a game. I mean, the second... I get excited when I see g6. As a chess player, you need to be excited to see certain openings because it means you've established a way to play and a level of dominance and confidence when this opening appears on the board. And in this case, London players should salivate. You should salivate at the concept. At the concept of playing one of these openings, and you know, we see it go to work. F3, G4, bam, bam. Guys, wait a second. Every move we made this game, we went forward. Wait a second. Did we go forward every single move in this game? Oh my goodness. 19 moves of going forward. That was pretty cool. That's pretty cool. That's a nice game. 19 out of 19 straight forward. Yes, except, yes, castling, I guess, was... But castling still improves the position. So... That was a nice game. I mean, that was just aggression, aggression, aggression. I mean, just going. But last game we saw that we have to come back to win sometimes, right? We have to come back. So it's a balance of the two. Now this next person, I'm sorry, I'm very immature, but, and this is obviously this person's name, but Daniel, I'm gonna call you Semyonovich, which is, I'm pretty sure, the Russian way to pronounce this. I'm just happy Twitch chat is not on the screen for this. Daniel is not here. Daniel has signed up to play, and oh, there's Daniel. Hi, Daniel. All right, e4. Let's go for a Scandinavian defense with d5. And I'm going to play knight f6. This is called the Portuguese Gambit. Technically, this is not the Portuguese Gambit. The Portuguese Gambit requires bishop to g4. But Mr. Semyonovich plays knight to c3, and we will just take back on d5 with the horse. It is a slightly different version than just playing queen d5, because then the knight can hit the queen. This way I at least get my knight to the middle. So knight goes to d5. And already there is an imbalance of the pawns being traded. That is one move to play here. You can take, but I personally like to back up here and attack the bishop. I think that is a slightly better move. Yo, shout out to DK Tizano with the tier 3 sub. Thank you. Haven't seen you in a while. Hope all is well. Got a lot of No, but this is just this is not a blunder, but I mean, if there is no reason to give a bishop away so early, don't do that. No. We don't, I don't like this at all. I mean, now I just develop. I mean, I put a pawn in the center, and I don't know. I of course, in this case, just retreat the bishop. If there's no good reason to trade a bishop early, don't do it. I mean, bishops are so useful. Like, now look, I go here. Who on earth is going to deal with this? Can someone please answer this question? Who is going to deal with this pin? Right? Now, and look, I can already start, you know, jumping in and doing some damage. I'm gonna go e5, and then bishop c5 or bishop b4. No, but black is already very happy. I mean, there's no one to combat. No, but h3, just like I go back. g4, I go back, and I've weakened your structure. Just like it's if there's no good reason, don't do it. Because now I just have a light squared bishop. I didn't have to work at all. Make your opponents work. That's what we're trying to do. We're making them work. Don't make it an easy game for them. Now, by the way, I honestly think I could have already done something like this. And throughout this video, I have been punishing in the opening. And the idea would be to just damage the structure. But I wasn't sure it was working here. Just bishop h5. Again, g4 is extremely weakening now because the king is there. See a lot of people also gifting random people subs. So, thank you. You are very kind. You are very much appreciated. Keep in mind that at the time of recording this series, I'm also Tata Steel is going on. So every day there will be recap videos out on YouTube. Why not b4? With what? The bishop? Short-sighted move. Which, if you've made it this far in the YouTube video or the stream, short-sighted move is just, we gotta stop, you know, doing, yo, Motbot just gifted 20 subs, my goodness. Thank you. We have to stop doing these one-move attacking moves that don't improve our position. Bishop to b4 is met with knight d5. The knight jumps to the middle, hits my bishop right back, and now my bishop has to move. So, the more you can cut back on moves that just attack once and that's it, the better. For example, this is not a bad move. It's not a bad move. Because it attacks the pawn and it improves the position of the rook. So I have to respond to it. I will move my pawn up one square. It's not a bad move at all. It's actually a very good move. It, long term, at least improves my opponent position. So, you know, me personally, I'm thinking, you know, something bring my queen over there in the future. Maybe f5. That's also not a bad move. Now, do I want this trade to happen? Number one, I can go back. Number two, I could say, I don't care, take, and I activate my queen. Now my pawns are active. They can go up. Tough decision. Very tough decision. Not clear at all. Both moves very possible. Coin toss. Maybe f5, there was knight g5 trying to fork me, but that looks kind of stupid because I just stopped that. And so again, short-sighted move. Short-sighted move. Personally, I think that f5 is the best move. I think that allowing this trade and then trying to, you know, fight on this pin or play f4 and force the bishop to go back, this kind of keeps my position moving forward rather than retreating at all. But to be honest, I don't know. Oh, but that's a mistake. No, but I mean, if you go here, you have to. So this game was strange. My opponent kind of like didn't make the right trades. It felt like just kind of hesitant. Didn't make the right trades. I mean, if you go knight e4, you got to play knight d6. You've committed to knight d6 because now you get your bishop trapped. So before you go back, you got to go, can my opponent attack any of my pieces? That, like, before you play knight d2, because when you play a slow move, like knight d2, you got to ask yourself, is there anything my opponent can do here? How can my opponent throw a punch? Like, how can they, and if you go, oh, f4 just traps, I can't go there, I got to do something. So, especially when you're 1450. I am holding 1450s to a higher standard. That is a high rating. At that rating, you've got to be looking at what your opponent wants to do. So, that is super important skill. f4, and then and now it's too late. Now it's just too late. I mean, the bishop is going to be lost, and I think so too. I mean, Marky says I think he's never. I absolutely think so as well. And like this is one thing that is very true and very possible. People who play on stream might very well play 20% lower than their actual rating just because of, you know, I feel it when I play the Speed Chess Championship, for example, not the open event, but the one with the IMs and the lower rated players. I feel it, but that doesn't mean that I can not explain kind of what's going on. So at what rating are you not considered beginner? I think once you cross like 2650, I would say that is when you are no longer considered a beginner. So yeah, I'm joking. It's probably about 1,000, but yeah, like FIDE, not like Blitz or Bullet, like 2650 FIDE. Yes, I'm drinking P. Very good. Yes, very, very good. Okay. Knight d4 now, which was my long-term plan. Now my opponent should definitely play queen c1 to get out of the pin. No, because queen e1, it's a little bit cramped. And queen b1, why are you going behind the rook? I mean, that doesn't make sense. You gotta go here. Queen c1, only move. Only move. Ah, it's 2 games in a row, chat. We have to remember the rules of chess. En passant, don't just move the bishop back. En passant, which I keep saying wrong because I've said it this way my whole life. Yes, un poisson. Poisson. Now we have rook, bam, bam. We're not winning this trade. So we can keep it there for a second. Oh my goodness, chat members. Oh my goodness, we are about to pull off something so nasty. We are going to play the move e4, hitting the horse. Our opponent cannot take with the knight because that dislodges the defense of f3. So what's going to happen is we're going to go e4, take, here, 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 here. Now what happens in this position is we have bishop check by moving our knight. The rook is now not defending the queen, so we will go check, and our queen will hit the queen, and we will win the queen. Are you ready? So the knight cannot take. If pawn takes, we have this, check, we win the queen. You think it's going to happen? You think we're going to clear out the entire board? Or is the opponent going to see that and sniff right through our plan? And they play g4, and, well, g4, we take the horse. That would have been nice, though. I also think, well, see, this is also nice because now we give a check and we give a mate. So, at the end of the day, they didn't lose the queen, but they got mated. Sometimes when I play in these things, I'm like, should I just not say it out loud? Because I feel like if people if people see that I'm preparing like a nice combination, they will deliberately not let me do it. Okay, now we have this, and the king is running. So the easiest thing is to just bring the bishop, so the king cannot get out. That's the easiest thing to do. And now we can go here or here. Bishop e1 is a pretty move. The bishop is the imposter. It cannot get taken because of check. It prevents the king from running away. The king's only two moves are h1 and h2, and we have queen g2 mate. Mate. Nice. Now, this game. So, first of all, let me just explain this. How do you see this far ahead? All forcing moves. Basically, in this position, the way I can predict all of this happening is that everything else for white is not good. So I know that knight takes e4 stops guarding this, so I know that de4 is going to be played. I know that that is the first step to opening up the d file. Then I go here, they take, and I take. Now, I anticipate that they're going to take. If they don't take, they have no other move there, because queen d5 is a check, but I just slide my king over. So that's what I'm looking at when I'm visualizing. I'm looking at queen d5 check, and that's it. If rook takes, immediately I see this, but I don't want to do that. I see that the rook is no longer protecting the queen. I know that the bishop can give a check once I've moved my knight, and this check, without the queen guarded, right, hits the queen. How do we do that? Years of experience. That's what we do. We clear all this out, and at the end of the day, we're going to have two queens that stare at each other. So e4 take, forcing move. At the end of the day, all these moves are forcing moves. They create threats and force the, like, I'm not, in the middle of this, I'm not going like, here, rook a7 with the deep idea of going bup, 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 or bup, 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 bup. Like, every single move I'm playing is a forcing, aggressive move. I'm looking at checks and captures the whole time. So, it's very much like a puzzle, and it's a tactical sequence, a tactical pattern. You know, just because you watch a streamer do it doesn't mean necessarily that it will always come easy to all of us. Now I'm going to play the English. I will end today's climb with c4, the English opening. Opponent plays the Dutch defense. Cool 1990 dude. Cool 1990 dude indeed. All right, making sure this is a real person. For some reason, oh, this person is at their highest rapid rating ever. That's kind of intimidating. For some reason, at the end of all of my videos, I play people who are absurdly good. Like, I don't know if it's like a last viewer kind of a thing, but, okay, so d4, c4, and now they're playing a Dutch. They look like they're going for a Leningrad, but we don't know yet. Now, remember how before we played h4, h5 against the King's Indian? You could play h4, h5 against the Dutch, too. Oh, wait. Why is this a 5-minute, 5-second game? This is not a 10-minute game. Well, it's 5-second bonus, which is still fine. How did that happen? Did I mess up my command? Oh. Oops. I accidentally made it a 5-minute, 5-second game. It's okay. It'll still take long. I don't like that move. My opponent said I was thinking that too. Hey, stop listening to the stream, doofus. My doofus guy. Turn off your... Come on. This is a strange move. I think I can already start just... I mean, this is just a little bit... A little bit too much. I mean, with the Dutch, you have to be very careful. Whoa. Wait, I don't understand. Why can't I just take? What? What? There's also like bishop. What? Just take? What is happening in this game? Thank you, Johnsy. Ooh, Johnsy just got up to 100 gifted subs on the channel. Huge. What is going on in this game? Very weird. Huh? How did that happen? No, we gotta take a look at this. This is an opening disaster from black. And it just shows you how powerful these early, you know, h4, h5 things are. Especially in openings like the Dutch. So I want to take, but that opens up the rook. But then I can go bishop d3. Oh no, this is so bad. Oh no, I mean, you cannot go knight f6, knight h5, knight f6. I mean, opponent looks like he's trying to troll me or something, you know? He's just moving the knight back and forth. No. We need to review this for black. We need to review this for black. And by the way, this should show you. If you play aggressively against Dutch, opening up the position, sacrificing, it's very, very scary stuff. Very scary. I mean, knight h5 is already, I think, already basically losing. Black has to be super careful, but no, I mean, you cannot waste time like this. Do I play Twitch subs? Every one of the people that I play in these climbs, these ladders, is a Twitch sub. I'm gonna try to do one of these climbs where I don't play with my ear ever. It's gonna be tough. Very bad habit. Terrible habit. But it's a lot of fun. Terrible. Oh no, bishop takes g6. My goodness. I mean, where are the pawns? All the pawns are gone. Oi, oi, oi. Not good. Not good, not good. Maybe even just push. No, push there is maybe bishop g4. Well, bishop g4 is happening no matter what. So bishop g4, f3, bishop h5. The guy is drunk? Why does the opponent have to be under the influence? Why can't we move my queen out so that the bishop cannot be hitting the queen? Recently reopened my chess.com username because you've inspired me. Good. That's what the videos are there for. That's what the YouTube is there for. All that good stuff. Twitch, YouTube. Yes. So knight c6. Knight f3. Developing. Attacking the knight here isn't a great move because the knight just goes to the middle. Let's just develop. Will be reasonable. Bishop h7. That's a move that is a move. Thank you, Switchbread. Bishop to g4. I mean, I want to move my knight and like go hunt, but let's just be principled. Let's finish developing in castle. I want to teach everybody a balance of both. Yeah, a balance of like opening punishment and at the same time not getting too foamy at the mouth. And thanks, Jake. Thanks, Jake the Snake. Jake the Snake. Why am I not playing rook b1? I don't... Oh, you mean rook g1. Okay, so again, well, before this wasn't a good move because knight e5, but you cannot take your own pawn. At least in the current chess patch, so... Oh, and Switchbread gifted subs and then subbed himself. Beautiful stuff. Knight b4 is a good move. Queen e2. Oh, no! Just kidding. Bishop and queen, stop that. Please explain the pawn structure here. First of all, white is up 2 pawns. Second of all, this pawn is just, if it goes here, just traps the bishop. I just haven't had a chance to do it, really. But number 2, this break. And number 3, my king is not going to castle this way. My king is definitely going to go this way. So the structure, you have to find where the breaks are, if they make sense. And there's a break. But my pawns are much scarier. See, don't take. This is a lot scarier for black. Bishop g5 lets me push the pawn. I don't need to play bishop g5 to push the pawn. I can just push the pawn. Queen to f5? Queen f5 wouldn't have been bad. There's a lot of good moves. The thing is, my friends, when you're up so much material, there's a lot of good moves. If I don't play a move that you're thinking of, your move could be better than mine. But I'm just playing moves that I think are good. If you consistently continue to make good moves, I'm going to take. And I'm telling you why I'm taking now. Because when I castle, my rook will be open, right? Can I motivate you to watch me instead of the Boston-New York match that's going to happen? Wait, what's going on? Is Boston playing who? Celtics-Knicks? Knicks-Celtics? Well, I mean, you should watch that. You should watch the basketball game if you're a Celtics fan. If you're a Knicks fan, it's generally advisable not to watch the Knicks play basketball. So, thank you, Switchbread. Thank you to everybody subbing. Prime, otherwise. Am I a Knicks fan? Sadly, yes. I mean, I'm a Nets transplant pretty soon, so. But yeah, I mean, if you're a Knicks fan, why even watch basketball? Like, well, like, why? You know, you want to watch scrubs get beaten up, watch one of these climbs. That was mean, I apologize. It's okay, you guys know I'm joking. Check. I am excited, very excited about UFC next week. Very excited. McGregor-Poirier, huge excitement for that. I think McGregor wins it within 2 rounds, but check. Give another check, walk the king over. And then if the king goes here, king walks directly into this. Like I said, queen takes c5. I guess we just, what do we do? We can, it's an interesting move. I guess we'll trade. I mean, don't take the knight because it's defended, that's why. Or you mean take this knight? Oh, it's defended by the bishop. So, possible, but now I'm trading everybody because I'll throw in a3. Attack the horse, make it move. I'm trading everything because we're up 3 pawns, so. No, we trade off our attackers, but this is, you know, this is the part of the night at the casino where you just cash out. Check. This is not a blunder of a horsey. And if the knight takes, we go here. You gotta listen, we gotta take our winnings and run away. Take our winnings and go. Take. No, we're good. We're very happy. Very good. Ah. Stretch the jaw. Still a couple of games going on in Tata. Classical chess is such a takes forever, my goodness. Take. Take. And if horsey take, horsey no take. Protect. He protect. He attack, but most importantly, he eat snack. H7 also was good. Yes, H7, Rook F5, H8 was also good. We have 4 extra pawns at this point. Look, my friends, the truth is, if you cannot win with 4 extra pawns, you know. Let's go here. Now bishop, a lot of moves. So we can chop, 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 and win the game. Oh, we have something very cool here. Rook d5, king d5, bishop g6, hitting the rook and the king. Rook e5. We can play bishop f7 check. If rook takes, we promote, so king will move. We will take, and we still can't queen because the rook covers, but bishop g8 shields it. Oh my goodness, that's so nice. We have an idea here to shield the rook from covering the promotion square. But we also don't have to do that. We also, when the rook comes up, can just make a queen. But chess is about being fancy and not playing the best moves, obviously. And now we have check, which we don't have to play. If they take, we make a queen, or check and then make a queen. So now the king moves, and then we would go here, and the rook still can't take because we'd make a queen. And then when the king takes, we play bishop g8. And this is instructive. Bishop and pawn, they can create this little shield for the pawn to go. It's very nice. And if the rook was on the other side, this would just be jail. This would be the cage, but oh, that is so nice. What a nice way to end it. Bishop and h7 pawn shield the rook from promoting, from covering the promotion square. Oh, oof, 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 oof. They can give a check, we hide the king, and we win. Nice. Beautiful. Beautiful. I see 9-year-olds in the chat asking for sub gifts. That's pretty good. All right, we make a bishop. King cannot get closer. Of course, we make a queen in normal circumstances, but... And we go. And we go. King goes, king goes. Go, 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 go. Why bishop? I don't know. Should I show you all how to mate with, like, some sort of, like... b5? Two bishops? Two bishops is a lot easier to learn. Alright, that's what we'll do. We'll do two bishops. Two bishops. I almost promoted to two light squared bishops, which would have just been a draw. You guys want bishop and knight? I'll do bishop and knight. Okay, fine. My only issue with teaching bishop and knight mate is that it's very hard to actually learn and master, but we'll do it. So first things first, you can only mate on the same color corner as what your bishop is. And what you do in the early stages, you hunt the king down. You try to force the king back any way that you can. You do that with, you know, your king, for example, and you have to bring the knight in some way. Now, in this case, we've already accomplished it. Here, that's covered. Yeah, okay. King f6, opponent just went directly to the back rank. So we would go, I mean, we can just follow, actually. Bishop here and knight. And the king is stuck. So we just stop the king from escaping. Oh. Okay, you want to do it like this. Got it. So bishop d7, king g8. There's a magic square for our horsey. Is the way I would describe this. So the magic square is the horsey goes here, and this is what happens when the king goes to the wrong corner. You have to put the knight on f7, and then king g8, and then you extract the king. Don't go here, that's stalemate. You will never mate the king on f8, okay? Ever. Don't even try. I'm thinking we go here, and then we can walk the king. But for now, let's just play knight c6. Let's bring the horsey back. It's very complicated. And also teaching it on the fly with 2 minutes, very dangerous for a streamer because it can be very embarrassing if I actually fail to do it. I'm under a lot of pressure here. Would just take the draw? Don't just take the draw. What are you, nuts? Now, king f8, bishop g6. Okay, this is easy now. Very easy. Let me show you. Watch this, watch this. So bishop g6. So the king is in a box. Now, these are the only squares the king can move on. Okay? And what you do is you've got to force the king to the corner. You got to force the king to go this way. And extract it out of the corner in the right way. So, for example, knight to e5. King goes to the corner. We give a check. And if the king went to f8, we would just have to repeat this process. We give a check. You're not going to mate the king. It should be in the... Yes, everybody's like, oh, it's the wrong corner. Now is the process for getting the king out. King cannot go back. We waste the move. Force the king to come here. Now we take this away. Now we take it away. Don't let the king get out. Don't let the king get out. Okay? King goes this way. King's trying to run, so what do? There's a technique known as the W technique, because it's a W, or a if you want it. An M, 95. Very good. My resident backseater, Ivan Cell 95, who only watches my stream to backseat me, is saying I had a very fast way. But this is the most instructive way, which is why I am the content creator and you are my resident backseater. King to E6. So now we bring the king and the walk continues. The king is trying to get out, so what do? King to D6. If check trying to escape, we have a check. Sorry, if check trying to escape. If king moves trying to escape, we give a check. Okay? Now king goes this way. We can continue our W technique here, or we can play a move that, for example, like bishop f7, where the king will have to go even further to the corner. So for instance, knight c5, and here, it's not like the easiest thing ever, so I would say waste the move, force the king to go one square further. Okay, now knight c5 doesn't let the king get out. All right, now the same exact technique. Give a check. You see? The diamond. El diamante. El diamante. King c6. Here, and that's it. Ladies and gentlemen, we have gotten the king extracted from the wrong corner to the right corner. We give a check. And now we need to set it up. This is the king's only legal move. Here, check, here, the king runs. So what do? We bring the knight back, and we want the exact same position we have now when the king goes here. So we want this to happen again. So opponent only can go here. Waiting move. No way you'll remember it? I know, too much. Now we want it to be their move so we can go check, back to the corner, and mate. So we waste the move. We waste the move. And that's it. They go back to b8. Check. Mate. And that is how you checkmate with king, bishop, and knight. Opponent had something ready to type to me. They said, thanks for the opportunity. They like copy-pasted it. I usually play Caro-Kann in Slav and black, and they look the same. So hopefully, you know, well, this person said they usually play the Slav defense, but why didn't they? If they play Slav defense, just go c6, d5. Caro-Kann and Slav is good, but no, but this person played the Dutch, and this was just a little bit too... No. H4 is a dangerous line. Actually, in many lines, black has to go for this complete insanity with the broken structure, e4 and then queen h5. So, no. The thing is, so my opponent's saying they didn't know that the Slav defense can be played against c4. I mean, just think about it. Just think about it, right? Like Slav defense, it looks the same. So technically, c4, c6 can turn into the Caro-Kann and can turn into the Slav. So c4, c6 is how you would try to play, you know, the Slav defense. So hope this was helpful. And that was the nice little endgame.